Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Tittle Tattle Tarot. It's Georgie. And on the table today, I have the Shadowlands Tarot. And I would like to do a Celtic cross. And I would like to do it from Princess Anne's perspective. And it's regarding Lady Susan Hussey. Princess Anne asked Lady Susan Hussey to stand in for her in going to a funeral. Princess Anne had been invited to a funeral of a dear friend, Dame Frances Campbell Preston, and she couldn't make it. And so she turned to her mother's dearest friend, Lady Susan Hussey, and asked her to go in her place, very much showing her support for this lady and very much sort of standing by her and, showing where her colours were nailed to the mast, so to speak. I think that Princess Anne was probably quite disgusted at the way that this lady had been treated. Ngozi Fulani, I'm calling her Marlene because that is her name. Marlene threw her under the bus totally and painted her to be a racist. This elderly lady who has trouble hearing, and Ngozi Fulani, Marlene, was going to go for anybody at that event. And I think she probably wanted Camilla. That would have been the big bucks, going for Camilla, but she couldn't get to her or couldn't get her to say what she wanted her to say. So she got Lady Susan Hussey. And to the shame of Charles and William, they threw her under the bus for this. But Anne, good old Princess Anne, very straight talking woman, her father's daughter, has backed Lady Susan Hussey and even wanted her to stand in her place at this funeral. So I would like to know, via a Celtic cross, what Princess Anne feels about all of this race baiting and how it's affected her mother's dear friend and family friend, Lady Susan Hussey. So I'm just going to pull a Celtic cross. Okay, so all of this is from Anne's point of view, and it's regarding the whole situation of the race baiting, the Marlene situation, just everything to do with this poor lady ending up basically being made to sit down with this awful woman and apologize, basically, and what Princess Anne thinks of all this. Knight of Wands, fire sign, very much very passionate about what is right and what is wrong. Very much, this is my belief, this is what I feel, and I stand by that. The Knight of Wands, is sending out a message that I do what's right, and like I said before, I will nail my colours to the mast, and I feel passionate about this. I feel passionate about my mother's friend. And what is crossing her? Knight of Pentacles, that slow moving energy, that sort of whole, this isn't a major arcana, so it's not the Hierophant or anything like that, but it is that sort of slow moving cog of the royal family. Everything is deliberated over and done slowly, and things are thought over. So this isn't one person in particular in the royal family that I'm seeing, but this is just like the men in grey suits and the way that things are just slow and plodding. And Anne is not like that. She is Knight of Wands. She will go in and go, right, this is what I'm doing, and bugger you. That's the way it's going to be done. She's got quite a sort of salty old mouth on her, and I'm sure that she would tell people to get lost in non too polite terminology. So she's very much, right, I'm doing this, get on with it. Whatever you've got to do, get on with it. But I'm not waiting around, I'm not hanging around. So I think that whole cog of the royal etiquette, I'm seeing this as, is very slow, and she doesn't like that. She wants, if something's wrong, she wants to put it right. So because at the bottom of this, there you are, you've got the Queen of Swords. It's lies. This is, I'm going to call her Marlene, because that's what she was christened, Marlene Headley. At the bottom of this, at the bottom of all of this, it was lies. It was entrapment. There were words. It was all things to trap somebody. And as it happened, it just happened to be Lady Susan Hussey that got caught up in this vicious trap. And this woman ensnared her with lies and deception, and she ensnared her, and she got caught up in it. And then at the top of the situation, it's people doing things. Again, another swords energy. So you're hemmed in by this, another swords energy. Let me just pull this down so you can see it clearer. Five of Swords, that sort of, look at this greedy crow. I'm taking from you because I can. I'm taking your reputation. I'm taking decades of your hard work. This is Marlene. Look at this. I'm taking all this because I can, because it's vindictive, and it's it's just that nasty bullying energy. You know, and this woman is in her 80s, you know, and as I said, she's quite deaf, and always been such a loyal member of you know, that sort of Queen's entourage, the Queen's trusted people. And this one here, this Marlene, just to take, just to get one over. And that's the other thing that the Five of Swords is, just to get one over, to make a point, to prove a point, to win at any cost. So there you are, that's top and tail of the whole thing, this nasty woman telling lies just to get one over. And in the past, I mean, Ten of Cups, what a lovely card this is. The Ten of Cups is loving, it's your home, it's your work environment, it's a loving thing. Marlene Headley has put that in such jeopardy for Lady Susan Hussey, because it was always a loving place to work, a loving place to be. Very much, although she isn't a family member, she looked on the royal family as her family, William's godmother. And you know, this is the happy home, the happy environment. Look at this crab here. You know, crab's very homebodies. He's got all these tins of paints, and I'm sure he scuttles into those, and he's very happy. You know, that's his little pyramid of a house. And this is the crab, and he's very happy with his, it's an unusual home. And probably for her, it's a bit of an unusual way to live, maybe, other people looking at it, you know, this lady who is not royal, but who looks on the royal family as her family. But she belonged there, and she was happy there. And so in the future, things are changing. Knight of Cups. Princess Anne has put this forward to her, and Lady Susan Hussey went and represented Princess Anne at this funeral. So Knight of Cups, that's a very loving energy. And I like the fact that this knight is a female. So you say, you know, this is very youthful energy here with a knight. I mean, Princess Anne would come up as a more senior queen. But having said that, you've got to remember that Lady Susan Hussey has known Princess Anne since she was a young girl. So, you know, it's like I've said to you before, the relations that we have with our older relatives and friends, we tend to revert to a younger version of ourselves because they've known us for so many years. So I think Lady Susan Hussey and Princess Anne, it sort of cemented their relationship even closer, because she stood up for her and said, I want you to step in for me. So that's very loving energy there. Fabulous stuff. So this is the immediate, this is the center of it. Very interesting. Then we're going to come to the outside here. I think for Lady Susan Hussey, it's been awful. The Two of Pentacles is really, you're on shifting sand. You can see this poor creature is balancing on this pentacle. It's trying to juggle. It's wounded, the Two of Pentacles isn't normally a wounded card. You can see, all the rags around it. It's been mortally wounded, and it's trying to juggle, doesn't quite know what to do. And I think, when you're in your 80s and you're suddenly accused of something vile, and you've suddenly lost your position and people are talking about you and you're being made to apologize, how awful must that be, and how wrong-footed must you feel? And I think this wounded her deeply and just made her, her world was on shifting sands, and that's very much the Two of Pentacles. So that's from her point of view. So from the outside, well, we've got the Four of Wands, which is, the stable home. And I think, from Princess Anne's point of view and from other people within the court, I'm not talking about Charles and William, because unfortunately they didn't back her up. And I'm quite upset about that. They didn't back her up. They just threw her under the bus. But as far as other members of the royal family, the people around the royal family were concerned, they wanted her back in the fold. Four walls. Look at these spiders here. They belong, and they live here, and they sort of nestle themselves into a corner, and they're quite happy where they are, and you don't disturb them. And it's a nice four-wall structure, everything where it should be. And I think people in the royal family, not William and Charles, but the coterie around them, the courtiers, they wanted Lady Susan back. They wanted her within the structure. They wanted her to be, part of the foundation of the royal family, which she'd been for decades upon decades. That's what they saw. Come back and be part of the family, be part of the institution. And here we have the universe, and the universe is saying death. That doesn't mean death in this circumstance. It means there needs to be a change, and Anne did it. Bless her heart, Anne did it. She stood up and she said, no, this is wrong. She got entrapped by a woman who was just going to get her with her words and her way of being spiteful and taking. This Marlene, that's the only way I'm going to refer to her, Marlene, really had her swords out for this woman, and it's not fair, it's not right. I'm going to offer this cup to her and say, do this for me. And so death, that is getting rid of that past. Let's bury that. Let's call that the fire that burnt things down from this Marlene woman. Now we're building back up, and we're building Marlene. We're building up Lady Susan Hussey, and I am saying to her, you go forward and you do work for me. And the universe is saying that's exactly right. There's a new beginning. Although this lady's in her 80s, there's a new beginning for her, and that's exactly the way it should be. And your final card there is the Star. And to right, she goes off and she does she does an event for Princess Anne. She represents her at a dear friend's funeral, Dame Frances Campbell Preston. And Lady Susan Hussey, she goes to that and just sort of represents Princess Anne. It's a healing card as well, the Star. So she goes there, she heals her own reputation by being invited to do that. She heals, for Princess Anne not being able to be there. She steps in and does what needs to be done. And I think these are lovely cards. It just shows that however vile people are, you've got them top and bottom, being as destructive as possible. This Marlene being as just, I don't know, I can't even find the word for it. I can't even find the word of it. And it's just so bullying and such horrible energy. I can feel it coming off the cards. But Anne was not having it. She refused to have it, and all this all the way up here is no, I want you back doing what you should be doing what you've done so well for decades upon decades. And so there we go. Now I'm just going to go right to the heart of the matter and see what we've got. What have we got in the heart of the matter? Justice in reverse. I think she felt that the way it was all handled was not right. It wasn't fair. It shouldn't have been handled like that. And then we've got the Page of Pentacles. And so she's made up for it by, planting this new seed for her. Go and do this event for me. Please represent me. Page of Pentacles, it's all about, starting something. Although this lady has done this job for decades upon decades, it's almost like restarting, because she was she was so vilified over this by a lot of people, so wrongly, and that was not justice. That was not justice in Princess Anne's opinion. So she's come forward and said, just go forward, do this for me, and and it will right some of the wrong. Won't right all of it, but as far as Princess Anne is concerned, this is her mother's dear friend. And I think Princess Anne will probably say, if anybody said to her, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, or we don't want you to do this with Lady Susan Hussey, I think she'd turn around to them and tell them to bugger off in no uncertain terms. Good old Princess Anne, do like her. Very much her father's daughter. So there we are. That's my opinion through the cards of what Princess Anne feels about the way that Lady Susan Hussey was treated, and how Princess Anne, in a very small way, stood up for this lady and just basically told all the others to just bugger off. And this is my mother's friend, and she's been with the family for so many years, and she's bloody well going to, she's going to represent me, and I'm very happy for her to do it. Lovely Princess Anne. You all take care, and I will be back again very soon. Bye-bye.